You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
If you're drunk,
blasted,
intoxicated,
ripped, plastered,
taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
Oh, little breaking news for you to wake up to this morning. Little breaking news for you this morning. No, not the facilitated history at Crypto.com Arena last night, although we'll get to the facilitated. Exactly how I told you it would play, right? I mean, I think I told you this when they drafted him, exactly how it would play. But I got a little breaking news for you this morning. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. Thanks for being with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal, how you living?
What it do?
You like this trade? The Titans and Chiefs working on a trade. This will send DeAndre Hopkins to Kansas City. This will solve their woes, or so they think. A conditional 4th-round pick. It's a 5th. It could be a 4th. And the Titans will pick up a chunk of D-Hop's salary. 12-year veteran. He's in the final year of a 2-year deal. He signed with the Titans in 2023. He had a torn MCL during the offseason, recovered, 15 receptions, 173 yards, a veteran go-to guy. They think this will solve their problems. Is this the answer?
No.
This is not.
No.
Is there an answer for them then?
No. It's still by committee. It's a cheap option of a guy you trust. Hopkins has a torn MCL that he did not have surgery on. He's a limited wide receiver right now.
So he's not fast. He's a big target, big possession receiver.
Yeah, he'll slide into some of those targets, but I don't even think he's going to have the game we saw 2 weeks ago from Juju Smith-Schuster.
Who's now hurt?
Who's hurt.
Who's
which
got a
is why they're
hamstring,
doing this, because Juju has a hamstring. That's going to linger. They have Xavier Worthy, he's a rookie who doesn't soak up those underneath targets.
Justin Watts,
they're still working him in. Yeah. So it's about, right, can you find a guy that can play some of that possession game like Rashee Rice was doing, like Juju Smith-Schuster was doing? Cheap option. And again, it's a name, so it's going to get you excited. But there's also a reason why he was the cheapest of the trades when it comes to Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, and then New Cop.
You know who would have been great for them? Who's on the market? I mean, Cooper Kupp would have been.
Yeah, a little more expensive though.
Way more expensive. It kills me. It kills me that the Rams are shopping Cooper Kupp.
So I think Nuke Hopkins is going to make some plays, but he's not going to go in there and be this like, oh my gosh, to remember Nuke Hopkins. That's not what they're looking for.
This is DeAndre Hopkins. This isn't Nuke Hopkins.
No.
Say
DeAndre.
This is DeAndre.
D-Hop, not
okay.
Nuke.
And I don't know what kind of hops left. So that's the breaking news this morning. What's up? 505-246-0610 if you want to play radio with us today. That's how to get here. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the X, it's _ JJ Buck. On the Facebook, the OD in the AM. The opening drive of the morning. The OD in the AM. Adrian produces the visuals for you there via ProView Network. It's on ProView Network's YouTube channel. It is on our Facebook page and on Comcast Channel 26 throughout the state of New Mexico. So that's how you can participate in the show. Last night, a lot going on. You got opening night, National Basketball Association. And the sideshow was LeBron, who, has missed so much. He's given so much because of the game, is what he said afterwards. He's, because of the game, he's given so much to the game, which has paid him, I don't know, an average of $60 million a year. And he missed all his kids' stuff. So to share the moment with Bronny was good. Look, it was a cool, sure. To have a father and son on the court, it kind of looked weird. It looked, I don't know, JJ, I don't know how you felt. And certainly I have a slant on it. I tried as objectively as I can. It looked fabricated. It was fabricated. This is
you were on it.
Yeah. I was on it at draft day.
Well, do it to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
So we know Bronny is not an NBA player right now.
Yeah.
So with understanding all that, it's pretty amazing that LeBron James is still at the level where not just he's on the court playing and still being a focal point of a basketball team with expectations, but that he could get to this point. Because there's certain players throughout history, they'd say that they might have that pool, but just to line up to actually be in the game long enough to have your kid come out of college, like we know all the reasons around it, and it still is kind of crazy to wrap your head around.
Yep. Oh, that's right. It's really, really cool. Right? I mean, I was an older dad when I had my kid. Obviously
now with
it's a different world, but
the stuff you were talking about, I where he missed a lot. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And I think you see that with a lot of players, once their career is over, what they're able to invest. And so when you still have the power, and this is a straight up power move by LeBron James to get it done, that's impressive. But now it's out of the way, and they look pretty good in the basketball floor, too.
110-93 if you care about the score. Lakers beat the Timberwolves. LeBron had 16, 5, and 4. And the leading scorer in the history of the game played with his kid last night. Let me just give you the particulars. And the Griffeys were there, Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr., with LeBron James Sr. and Jr. And, of course, the Griffeys did this in Major League Baseball. I believe, again, I didn't fact check. I should have myself. I believe the year was 1991 with the Mariners when Kenny came up and Ken Griffey Sr. was playing with the Mariners. And I remember that night, and it was really, really cool. And if I'm not mistaken, Jr. homered that. I think they both homered. There was a game I know there was a game they both homered in. Anyway, Tuesday night, this is the first NBA father and son duo to appear in a game together in the NBA. 4 minutes left in the second quarter. They checked in together. LeBron had already played 13 minutes. Bronny came in for his 3 minutes. They got up from the end of the bench. They walked to the scores table together. The crowd knew what was going on. And again, you had to know it was coming. JJ Redick was kind of coy, their new head coach, about how this was going to go down. The easy answer was, look, get this out of the way. And I think I told you, it's mid-second quarter, get him out there for a few minutes, get it out of the way. This was the right way to do it. You don't have to answer any questions moving forward. Talk about it afterwards. And now Bronny's going to sit at the end of the bench and like most 13th guys or whatever it is on the roster, and that's how it is. LeBron said that moment, us being at the scorer's table together, checking in together, something I'll never forget. No matter how old I get, no matter how my memory may fade as I get older or whatever, I'll never forget that moment. And that's cool, man. Look, whatever you think of that dude, and if you love him, you thought it was great. If you don't love him, I still, think you have to think it was pretty cool. I mean, a father and son. I don't think there's any doubt how he loves his family and his boy, and it was really cool. It was really a cool moment. And then it was on, and Bronny took his three. It didn't go. Bronny took his seat back on the bench, put his hoodie back on. They took a picture with the Griffies, and we can all go on with our life now, right?
Yeah, and one thing too, it highlights the Griffey situation and how crazy that was, because King Griffey Jr. was a legit player.
Yeah, he was the first pick.
Yeah, to see that happen, everyone's wanting to show respect for LeBron and not just trying to rain on the parade because you don't like LeBron James. But the Griffey one, legit coming up, being the player he was throughout his career, getting that opportunity. I'm glad that was able to be highlighted, because that was definitely more of a wow moment player-wise than what we're seeing with Bron.
Yeah, it was 1990, not 91. September 14th, 1990, senior and junior Griffies made history. They became the first father and son duo. And this is when they hit back-to-back home runs. I knew there was a game they hit back-to-back. They both homered against the Angels back in 1990, which is crazy. And they played together for 2 seasons. In 1990 and 1991, senior's career was winding down. Junior's career was beginning, and I've told you many times. When Junior, and I was working up in Washington State in those 91 to 96, Junior was the best player I've ever seen. Like, on a day-to-day basis, he's the best baseball player I've watched on a day-to-day basis, up to maybe Ohtani, right? I thought in his peak, Bonds was great. I would give him an edge over Bonds. I've told you, I think Tony Gwynn was the best pure hitter I've ever seen on a day-to-day basis. That him and Pete Rose. But this was unbelievable. But on that day, they hit 2 home runs. They went back-to-back. And there's a ball that they both signed, and it's in the Hall of Fame. And it's really, really cool. When Senior was 41 and Junior was 19. Pretty crazy stuff. When you start thinking about it. All right, we got a lot to do today, man. Let's play radio. Come on in today. 505-246-0610. 505-246-0610. We're going to get through a little basketball. They open up on Monday with an exhibition against UTEP. The men do. Ladies will be in the pit on Saturday against Western Colorado, also with an exhibition. Both coaches talked yesterday. We'll hear from Richard Pitino a little bit later in the show on a number of things, on a number of topics, and I thought it was really, really good to listen to what he had to say yesterday. There's a lot of talk in the NBA. Trade deadline's a couple weeks away. A lot of names on the block, like big names on the block. You're going, whoa, really, that one, and why them, and are they quitting? And so where are we going with that? We got the NBA to get through. World Series starts coming up on Friday. And dude, I want to get into Fernando Valenzuela. That one was like, whoa, Fernando died? Those of you of a certain age, Fernando Mania was one of the craziest. Remember Linsanity in New York? Fernando Mania was that multiplied because it lasted so much longer and he was so much better. And they won a championship. So I want to get into what Fernando Mania was as well. 505-246-0610. When we come back, the latest in the NFL, rumors, trades, who's moving, what's going on. We'll hit that when we come back. Don't get hit by the bad guys. If you have not been a victim of property crime, I know you know someone who has. And if you have, don't wait until you are. Call IPS, International Protective Service, and have them protect what you've worked so hard to build. This is affordable private security. I've trusted IPS for years. I recommend them highly. They come by my home every day. They do checks when I'm out of town, multiple checks a day. If your alarm goes off, and mine has when I was out of town, they're there within 5 to 7 minutes with armed, trained security officers. They often catch the criminals in the act. They will detain them and wait for the police to come. Look, there's just not enough police officers to respond to all the calls they get. That's why IPS is that layer of security you need to protect what you've worked so hard to build. They install alarms, camera systems, state-of-the-art facility, monitors those cameras 24/7, and that just raises the level of security around your home and around your business. So the question always is, who's watching your home when you're not there? Who's watching your business? Make sure it's the good guys. IPS's phone number is 505-897-2420, 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com. International Protective Service, making Albuquerque and Santa Fe better and safer places to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the Frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Up, players on the move. DeAndre Hopkins being dealt this morning from Tennessee to Kansas City. So Patrick Mahomes will not really the Nuke Hopkins, but DeAndre Hopkins, same dude kind of. A conditional round pick. It's a 5th round pick, could be a 4th. And Tennessee will pay a bunch of his schedule. 12-year veteran going to Kansas City. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and J.J. Buck. A lot of rumors going around. What's Cooper Kupp worth to you? Because it sounds like the Rams are shopping Cooper Kupp. That just kills me.
Yes. It's the injuries derailed what looks like a final push with this group. 31 years old, Cooper Kupp is trying to get some value out of him, maybe a third that could become a second-rounder type of deal with Cooper Kupp. But he's so good with the way Sean McVay uses him. If he's going to be a good receiver wherever he goes. But, man, what could have been when one last run.
Do they just think that Puka Nacua is going to be turned into that guy? I mean, he was limited. He's coming back.
I think a lot of it, too, is just the window's closing with Matthew Stafford, with this group. And you believe that you have someone that can play at that level in Puka Nacua moving forward, and you start thinking about, okay, the life after Stafford and maximizing on some of the pieces.
Why? I was just having this conversation down the hall as I was walking in with a Niner fan who said, "Do you think they trade him to us?" I'm like, "Hell no, no. Why not? Because the Rams are 2-4. The team leading the division is 4-3. They're a game and a half out of first place. I get 2-4 isn't good, but you've had nobody. Your line's starting to get a little healthier. You get Kupp and Nacua back. I mean, you got games coming up. Vikings are tough this week. This is a Thursday night game, by the way. And then Seattle's beatable. Dolphins aren't world beaters. Patriots aren't good. Eagles, Saints. I mean, you quit? Because that feels like...
If you're trading Cooper, then it's also like the writing on the wall that you're going to make a move, I think, in the offseason, a quarterback, right?
Didn't they just give him more money?
Wasn't anything crazy.
Make a move. What does that mean? You're not in a position where you're going to go draft somebody big. Free agency is what? I mean, who are the free agent quarterbacks this year?
What? I'm trying to think of why would Cooper Kupp be on the trade block?
Look, that's what I'm trying to talk through, too. I don't know.
Or just play it out. Because it's either you play it out and get nothing and hope you win, or you get something for Kupp and see what the next few years hold.
Yeah, I mean, you lose Aaron Donald on the defensive side, and I look at it and I'm like, damn, I don't know. This is a guy that when they drafted, I remember they thought that that was back in the bleep the picks days where they had no first round picks, and so he was a second round pick out of Eastern Washington. It was the first pick the Rams made, and everybody's like, wait, what? You took a white receiver out of Eastern Washington, right? I mean, honestly, is that a fair way to assess the way that was reacted to?
Well, yeah.
Just what?
And he was a third round pick, by the way.
Was the third? Yeah. All right. But he was still their first pick that year, right?
69th selection in the 2017 draft.
Yeah. And he's turned into this dude who had the Triple Crown 1 year, got paid. But he hadn't played since week 2 when he sprained his ankle in that game against Arizona. 2 games before the injury, 18 catches for 147 yards. But he's turned into just a stud when healthy. Like the game's so brutal, man. The game is so brutal. I think when healthy, especially, there's guys who hit and guys who get hit. You know what I mean? And even the guys who hit, like Aiden Hutchinson, get hurt. The game is so brutal and so fast and so big and so strong. But, man, give me a receiver who's not been hurt. Like, at some point for an extended period of time, show me one. You got one?
No, I don't think that's that's just part of football.
Right.
Like, I think this is more like this window is for trading Cooper Kupp. You're only going to get less value out of it. So having the conversations right now with figuring, do they try to retool with Puka and whatever with Matthew Stafford? Is it just try a whole offensive reset? Because you still trust in Sean McVay's scheme, but you have to have someone to execute it, and we haven't seen Stafford with the weapons this year, so you don't know. And I'm with you. It's just, why not just play out the rest of the season?
Do you think
get them back and see what it looks like?
Do you think their next quarterback's on the roster?
No,
because it's Jim Garoppolo and it's Stetson Bennett. So I don't know what the plan would be. I'd like to believe they have a plan.
I think there's not always an answer to the plan.
Fair.
Like, it's what
everybody's got a plan until what?
It's where could we select in a draft? What would we want to do to move to a certain position in the draft versus potential quarterbacks that can come on the market? Like, if Stafford still wants to play, I'm letting him be my starting quarterback for the next year or two still.
Matt Stafford's not the problem with this team right now. They got a lot of problems.
But this is just about potentially maximizing an asset that is only going to depreciate in value. In terms of if you wanted to move off of them salary-wise in the future, why not try to get a draft pick?
Yeah, fair enough. And that sounds like that's where they're going. There's a bunch of stuff there. The Bucs, Chris Godwin, I think we knew this yesterday, likely out for the year. Or at least Evans is out until the bye, and they've got a few more weeks until their bye. Alvin Kamara got paid. A 2-year extension for Alvin Kamara worth $24.5 million with the Saints. They announced that yesterday. He appeared to confirm the news on his social media account, but he said in September he was willing to play through the season without a new deal. He entered the year with no guaranteed money left on his contract. That was a deal he signed back in 2020, 5 years, $75 million. And I think that's right. That's the best thing they got going right now, isn't it? He's their only healthy piece.
If they use him.
If they use him. And last week they gave him the ball, for 24 yards?
7 carries?
Yeah.
7 carries, 10 yards, 6 receptions, 14 yards.
Yeah. All right. 505-246-0610. Got a break here. When we come back, I'm going to remember Fernando Mania and what Fernando Valenzuela meant. And I know there's some of you old school Dodger fans a little bit. He's going to be honored when the World Series begins. But a guy who came out of nowhere. JJ, I'll get into this, but I certainly believe the word sensation, like when in regards to sports, this was the definition of it. Fernando passes away. We'll talk about him next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66.
The Sports Animal.
I just got a meme. The Dodgers have announced that the legendary Fernando Valenzuela Fernando Valenzuela passed away. He was only 63 years old. It's opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. JJ, I know before your time, Fernando Valenzuela was almost feels to me like the original sensation. And people say, well, what does that mean? I mean, we talk about rookie sensations. We talk about guys that come out of nowhere. The Dodgers found this guy and gave a huge sum of money to get him at $120,000. But they found him in this little town and signed him. And I just want, we talk different eras. And 1981 was a long time ago, right? 29 and what was this, 24? So that was 43 years ago. In 1981, when he came up, and I compared this conversation a little bit to what we were talking about C.J. Stroud last year. Can he be Rookie of the Year and MVP? We talked about it for a minute. But in 81, Fernando won NL Rookie of the Year and Cy Young. He was 20 years old. He led the league in innings. He won his first 8 starts, completed 7 of them, JJ, threw 5 shutouts. In his first, he made 5 starts in 81's postseason. In the postseason, he made 5 starts, threw 40 2/3 innings, and had a 2.21 ERA. Dodgers beat the Yankees in the World Series that year. He'll be honored at the World Series on Friday. The commissioner, Rob Manfred, said Fernando Valenzuela was one of the most impactful players of his generation. We will honor Fernando's memory during the 2024 World Series. On behalf of Major League Baseball, I extend my deepest condolences to Fernando's family, the Dodgers, his friends across the game, and loyal baseball fans of Mexico. So they found him. He came out of the Mexican League, and they gave him like this crazy amount of money, $120,000 at the time. He threw a no-hitter in 1990 against the Cardinals. He went to 6 consecutive All-Star games, finished in the top 5 of the Cy Young, 82, 85, 86. 81 was his best season, but there was this aura about him. And in Southern California, with the big Mexican population, and then that wind-up where he kind of rocked and looked up at the sky every time. Dude could hit. He was raised in this little bitty town, and he grew up playing against way older players. And they signed him for, like I said, $120,000, which was huge. Came up in 1980, 2 games that season, then joined the rotation full-time in 81. In 1983, JJ, he became the first player to win $1 million in arbitration. It was a gigantic number, $1 million for this guy. 3 years later, he signed a $5.5 million contract, the largest ever contract for a pitcher. There was nothing like Fernando Mania. It took over. And I was in Southern California, and I was a kid at the time. And there was literally, I've still to this point, Linsanity was something similar to that, but this lasted, dude. And this guy was really, really good. Like, Linsanity was good. That was a crazy phenom for a minute. This guy won the Cy Young in his rookie year.
Did it at the highest level in terms of postseason performance, championship. Like, Linsanity was like a regular season moment in New York.
Right. And I didn't realize, I just assumed he was in the Hall of Fame. And I see some names that come on the ballot and some guys that are going through and being considered for the Hall of Fame. He fell off the Hall of Fame ballot his second year on the ballot, which is crazy to me. You got thoughts on Fernando? I'd love to hear them. 505-246-0610. I know so many of you were Dodger fans. You grew up, whether it was here when the Dukes were the Dodgers, AAA affiliate, or you grew up in a lot of Southern California transplants, but so many Dodger fans here. I've never seen anything like it. And 43 years later, this guy, and you didn't have to be a Mexican-American or a Mexican national to get wrapped up in the Fernando Mania thing. And like I said, I was a kid in Southern California at the time, and it was, listen to Vince Scully call his games and go to Dodger Stadium for Fernando games. I would imagine it's a lot like the Ohtani thing now. I haven't been to a Dodger game with Ohtani there, and I know the Japanese population has just so engulfed him, as has the entire Dodger community in L.A., but never saw anything like this. 63 years old. I'm not sure how he died or what he died, but Fernando Valenzuela has passed away. Edward, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Jeff, it would be remiss of me to not mention your birthday, so I'm sorry I missed it. Happy belated birthday, another year around the sun, 365.25 days.
Yeah, thank you.
And Costco cake, I took a couple of slices out of it.
So it's about ready now?
But you're a good man, and we appreciate you.
Costco
you
doesn't
a
do
lot
cake.
Of good things for this community.
Thank you. Costco doesn't do cake anymore, do they?
They do, but they're fundamental cakes. They're not the the 5-star cake, the 5-star specials. Okay. Now they're like 3-star.
Okay.
But yeah, I always quote your beautiful saying: "Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing," because that should permeate our society. So, and I know it's because of your really dear friend that passed away, unfortunately. So, thank you for sharing that with us.
I appreciate that.
Can you believe it's been 43 years since the Dodgers and Yankees have played in the 43 years? Like, freaking, damn near half a century. A whole generation has passed. And then they played in 77 when 5'10" Reginald Martinez Jackson hit 3 bombs in one game.
Off of who? Do you remember the pitchers? What were the pitchers?
I don't remember, but I'm sure you do. I haven't committed to memory.
Bert Hooton, Elias Sosa, and Charlie Huff.
Ah, amazing. I was a spry young man back then watching those World Series. I think I was 8 years old. But I remember clear as a day, and those were iconic moments in baseball history. The beautiful thing about Fernando is because he came from nowhere, and he would look to the heavens as he released the ball during his stretch. And, what a beautiful soul in the baseball history. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the Dodgers are going to take the Yankees apart. I think it might even be a 5-game series, but more than likely 6. Briefly on the NFL, D'Amico Ryans. I like D'Amico Ryans. He's the head coach of the Texans. I was watching their game. The old mentality of, hey, let's rely on our defense to win the game. He has a brilliant young quarterback. Last year, they won 11 games, I think, during the regular season, and his vaunted defense, because that's where he came from, San Francisco, gave up late leads in at least 3 or 4 games. They could have won 14 games. This past weekend, they have the ball with a chance to put the game away, and he goes conservative with play calling. They kick a field goal, and they get beat. That's not the only reason they get beat, but it's a big factor, and these old-school defensive coaches need to realize your best chance to win, especially when you have a dynamic quarterback, is when you have the ball. Go for the win. Put it away. Don't rely on your defense to give up. And with the new kickoff rules, you get the ball at the 30, 2 first downs, and these amazing kickers, you're going to get beat. If you're only leading by 1 or 2, there's a high probability you're going to get beat with less than 2 minutes. So, I don't know. It was very disappointing. But thank you for letting me share my thoughts. It's going to be a good World Series, but I do think the Dodgers are going to I think they're going to dominate
Dodgers
them.
in 6.
So,
all right. No, I appreciate
have a delightful day.
C.J. Stroud this week, JJ, the numbers are like, what happened? 10 for 21 for 86 yards?
It was bad.
And yet they were right there.
Yeah, and that a little bit of that probably was the reason they might have played more conservative than they would have liked to at the end of the game. But I still got C.J. Stroud, and to Edward's point, when you have the chance to put the game away, you try to take it as opposed to get too conservative. But that was exactly what jumped out to me is the Packers still needed a game-winning field goal to win that when Stroud was
88 yards.
88 yards passing.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Mixon was their offense. He had 115 yards. Outside of Joe Mixon, right, because the team ran for 142. You got 19 out of Stroud and 8 out of 2 other dudes. Like, how did that happen? That's been, well, I mean, I know they lose Nico Collins, and that's a big piece, right? How many teams have lost their number 1 receiver? I mean, like, honestly, the Rams and the Buccaneers now and the Texans, and
for any period of time, it's been a few. Seattle, Metcalf,
I mean, he's down now.
Sprain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gosh. Malik Neighbors missed 2 games.
Amon-Ra's number 1, right? James Williams isn't number 1. Although he's been their most,
Amon-Ra's their
stat-wise,
Amon-Ra St. Brown's their best receiver.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's Jameson Williams will have that one catch for 50 yards that you're like,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, because I needed that because he's got a hope for up until now. 100%, that's right. All right, 505-246-0610. Yeah, I'd love your thoughts on Dodger fans on Fernando. I know that so many of you kind of grew up with that, and that whole left-handed look to the sky, wind up, the screwball. He threw a screwball. Like the things that I've lost over the years, the bunt, the stolen base came back recently, the screwball. Who throws a screwball anymore? I was taught you kind of take the arm to a right angle, and you turn the screwball turns the other way from a curveball. Sal, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. What's up, Sal?
Not much. I just listened to you guys talking about Fernando Valenzuela. And when I was little, I used to watch him with my grandpa.
Yeah.
And he actually went to California to go watch him play. And got an autograph poster of him, which I still have, and I keep up in my garage.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. He was different, man. I try to explain the phenomena. You almost had to live through it, but he transcended and broke records and won $1 million in arbitration. And by the way, was really, 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 really freaking good. So
yeah, he was pretty good, and my grandpa just loved him. And rubbed off on us, and we just kind of watched him, and it was it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Sal. Thanks for the memory. It's a good one. Thanks.
All right.
505-246-0610. Come on with them. I'd love to hear your story. See, I love that kind of stuff. I love, my grandpa went out and I got a poster from the 43 years ago and it's still hanging there, and it was signed by Fernando. I love that kind of stuff. I just do. Hey, I love when On the Spot Automotive Detailing comes and details my vehicle. I might love that more. I love getting that new car feeling, that new car smell, that new car look. Remember when you took it off the lot? You can have that, and you don't have to get a new car. On the Spot Automotive Detailing will come and do that for you at your convenience. What does that even mean, Jeff? At your convenience means where you are. You don't take it to them. They come to you where it works for you and when it works for you, and they detail your vehicle. And when they're done, it looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off the lot. Remember how fun it was to get in your car, drive your car, smell? I mean, I know, look, look around, it happens, right? Life happens. Your car looks like it does now. On the Spot Automotive Detailing will take care of that for you. You can also ask them about ceramic tint. Blocks 99% of UV and infrared rays. They are a 3M certified dealer. That means they have the best window tint product on the market. They will also help you with ceramic coating to help protect your paint protection film, everything to protect your vehicle, which is one of your biggest investments. They are also a great gift as we get into gift giving season. On the Spot Automotive Detailing, it's all online. Go look at them at otsdetailing.com. otsdetailing.com, or give them a call. 505-859-2859. 505-859-2859.
This report is sponsored by all.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for
Fred, weekdays from 4 till 7 on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Steve said on the text line that, gents, the modern-day screwball is called the cut fastball. Happy jump day. Yeah, it doesn't have quite the break the screwball does. Yeah, it moves away from for a right-handed pitcher, it moves away from a left-handed hitter or into a right-handed hitter. But that old screwball that had that curveball break the other way. It was tough on the arm now too. Remember, I tried to throw it as a kid, because I was right around the Fernando time. I tried to throw. It was hard, man. It was hard. Opening drive, Jeff JJ 505-246-0610. A couple other NFL notes for you. Jameis Winston will be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns this weekend. This is according to a report on SI. So Deshaun Watson's season ended. He had that Achilles injury that we all watched. He was carted off. Dorian Thompson-Robinson came in. He was the backup. But Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports in Cleveland is reporting that Cleveland will go with Jameis on Sunday during who they play Sunday? They got a division game. Who they play? They would get Cincinnati or something? No, they just played Cincinnati. They get the Ravens. They get the Steelers. Who they get? It's got to be one of them. Watson will be your guy. I mean, I don't think that's surprising, but that's where they had to go, right?
Yes.
So
especially with Dorian Thompson not finishing the game last week. Jameis Winston is your QB too. It's what everyone's been clamoring for. See this offense with Jameis, and get the Ravens in Cleveland, and they're 9-point dogs.
Good luck, right? I mean, welcome back to starting. Good luck. Do they look any better offensively? And I'll give them almost a mulligan this week because they play the Ravens, and you're breaking in a guy who hasn't started. But after that, they go Chargers, Saints, Steelers, Broncos. Do you give them? I mean, look at 1-6. I don't know when you wave the flag. You don't ever wave the flag, but will they look better?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not certain I think they will. I mean, Nick Chubb is back.
John Watson was grading out as the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Numbers-wise, absolutely, that's right. Jerry Judy's been Nick Chubb's there. Your receivers now are Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore, Jamari Thrash, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku. What do you expect? Their number 3 guy is now Bailey Zappi, by the way. So that'll be their emergency quarterback in Cleveland. Brown fan is one of the most depressing football fan because there's a couple around here, right? Do you run into Dougie in the hallway, or you ever run into TJ and talk Browns with him?
TJ doesn't talk to me. He's too big time for me. But
that makes sense. I mean, who are you? I'm kidding.
But
you know,
I'll take Dougie. No, he's one of those guys.
TJ doesn't talk to you?
No.
He's too big for you? I'm going to clown on him now.
Well, it's just one of those. Anytime I do happen to see anyone in the afternoon.
Yeah, I never see him.
Morning people. Who are you? All right, Bill Belichick.
He is a little Bill Belichick in it, the way he talks. I got CSAT, pumpkins. Wow. Come on, hold on. I got pumpkins.
The hot take Dougie. Love you hitting fired up.
Yeah, hot take Dougie loses his mind on the Browns, dude. And he just goes into this weird little place. And I just feel for Browns fans because there was this like super short window of optimism and excitement, and it was legitimate. You had this great defense. You had Nick Chubb for a minute, right, was as good a running back as there was in the league, right? You went out and got Amari Cooper. It's like, wow, okay. And then Deshaun Watson, I know he's despicable, but he's despicable, but he's really good. Remember how good he was? Okay, so there was that optimism. There was that window. Deshaun Watson's been anything but good. Nick Chubb has been hurt a lot. Their defense is not the best in the league. Amari Cooper's not there anymore. Like, they've just become the same old sad Brown fan. And there's nothing not to like. Why? Who doesn't like the Browns? What's to not like about the Browns? Why? Like, even if you're in their division, like, if you're a Steeler fan, you're a Bengal fan, do you really not like them? What? Whatever, man. You've been beating them up on them for your whole life. I don't care how old you are. You've been beating up on them for your whole life. Right? The Brown fans honestly, of all the fan base in the NFL, that's probably, if there's one I have empathy for, it would probably be them.
And they had their team at one point taken away, and then it comes back.
In the middle of the night, yeah. I look. So that'll be your guy, Jameis Winston. Go out and grab him, put him on your fantasy team. He'll be great.
Slinging it.
Let me just tell you, dude. I was scouring the wire yesterday, and
yourself some McMillan.
So that was my number 2. I didn't. It was like if I didn't get my first pick. That's the receiver in Tampa Bay.
Rookie wide receiver from Washington, 3rd-round pick that ran the 3rd most routes so far this season behind Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, and a giant opportunity as Baker Mayfield needs someone to throw.
Him and K. Dotton.
That's it.
Him and K. Dotton. Yeah, I think are going to be big targets. It's amazing how everybody is jonesing for running backs. Not that it's working. Well, I got one team where I'm loaded. I got 4 starting running backs still, and people are just, hey. But I got offered a bunch of guys to clear a guy's bench for Javonte Williams yesterday. I mean, honestly. Now, if you were going to give me something worth something, I'd listen to it. But no, it was just 2 scrubs that he just picked up.
Those are the worst.
I know.
We can see the transaction, y'all. Like, be smarter than that.
Right.
The first offer doesn't always have to be the best offer.
You want to give me something,
but it has to be something where I want to message you back and not say bleep off, but say, okay, what do you think about this?
You just sometimes just respond, N-O. No. I got one dude, I trade with him periodically. What do? We did like Etienne and trying to remember. I gave him Etienne and Calvin Ridley. And I got Mooney and Ramondre Stevenson.
You're talking about starters, people that would actually be in your lineup?
Yeah. All right, that one. Then he sends me like, here's 2 scrubs for, I don't know, Olave or what am I? Like, come on, man. What are we doing? All right, 505-246-0610. LeBron and Bronny make history. Want your thoughts on that? When we come back, Richard Pitino spoke yesterday. A little basketball is coming up. I want to hear what he had to say about a number of topics, his players, football. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great race, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the
Win. Celtics blow out the Knicks to open up the NBA season. DeAndre Hopkins is on his way to becoming a Kansas City Chief in a trade that's going down this morning. And good morning to you. Another bowl-eligible team yesterday, Sam Houston out of Conference USA. They beat FIU last night, 10-7 in Conference US action. So they are now 6-2. The Bearcats, with a K, Bearcats, are bowl-eligible. Louisiana Tech bounced back from their loss to New Mexico State and beat UTEP. They are now 3-4. The score was 14-10. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. You're welcome to join the show today at 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animals phone line and our text line. Your emails come in, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Jeff, JJ, can I call the OD with my Fernando memory and the day he pitched a perfect game back in 1990? You don't really need permission to call on the show. Number's 505-246-0610. John? That was John in the Duke City. Hello, Rudy. You're on the Sports Animal. Good day, sir.
Good day. Well, Fernando Valenzuela, that's a guy that really I didn't even know that he was close to that kind of end. But right. When we were in law school, we had just graduated, and I had friends living in L.A., and I was dating a gal in L.A., and, Fernando didn't ever pitch here in Albuquerque. I don't know if people remember that. He went directly from double-A ball to the majors. And we went out to see him, and it was Fernando Mania. It was unbelievable. You could not get a ticket to the game for love nor money. My buddy had season tickets, and we went, and I've never seen a line like that. You've been to Dodger Stadium. It's tough to get in and out of there sometimes. Mm-hmm. It was mania. It was bumper-to-bumper traffic, 2 hours before the game, 2 hours after the game. Somebody abandoned their car on the 10 to walk to the stadium when it broke down. I mean, it was nuts, Jeff. And so we get there at the second inning, and Fernando's just Fernando. I mean, the guy was the most unbelievable pitcher. I don't know how he did it. He never looked at the catcher's mitt until he turned to throw. He was the most phenomenal pitcher I've ever seen.
Yeah, his eyes would go up to the heavens, and
Well, you know you're an icon when you're part of Bull Durham, right?
Fair enough.
You know? And so that was my memory. He was larger than life, and he just set the world on fire. And that's sad to see him go.
Yeah, he's only
by the
63
way,
years old.
I was going to call and wish you a happy birthday, and somehow that got subverted.
Thank you.
So, happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
And, you know, I've been talking to people. I went to early vote, and I had my Lobo stuff on. And when I got done, poll workers started coming up to me to talk to me about the game. And so I was talking to this one woman, and I said, did you watch the whole game? And she said, yeah. I said, did you see the interview of Bronco? She goes, no, somehow I missed that. So I had that little snippet that I had put on my phone, and I played it for her. Before you know it, there's like 10 people coming around to watch it. And I think that struck a nerve, you know? And I really think people are now interested in going to the game because they were asking me, when's the next game? And I said, November 2nd, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, be there.
We'll see. Do you think they got to win this weekend for people to come out, or do you think people are coming out either way? Because they'll still have something to play for.
I know a lot of people have made their plans. You know, it's the day after the Hall of Honor banquet, too, November 2nd. So that's a big deal. They're going to honor Richard Pitino and Reuben Douglas. And if people out there haven't heard about it, it's going to be at the Sandia Event Center, so at Sandia Golf Course. So if you want to honor some people and if you want to know what the Hall of Honor is, get your tickets and go see that. I'll be there Friday night, too, to honor all those people. Including Gary Hines, you know, who's done a lot for UNM athletics.
All right, that'll be next week. All right, Matt, I'll see you. Appreciate your thoughts on Fernando.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you.
All right, hey, I forgot about this. So, have I ever told you this story? You're like, I don't know, you probably have, 16 years together or whatever we've been. And so back when I was at San Diego State, in April, spring break, we would go down the Baja. We would go down to San Felipe, which is a little town halfway down the Baja on the Gulf side. And we just lazy little town. We'd camp on the beach and, you know, do stupid things. And it was great. But we go into town and a couple little bars there. And it was, you know, little town in Mexico. And I don't know, 84, it had to be 85, 86, 80. So right in that area. And when Fernando Mania was huge and he had become a star. And I remember walking into the bar, and the Dodger game was on, and all the locals and you know, half of them were in Dodger 34, you know, Valenzuela shirts, and there was a language barrier, and our Spanish wasn't very good. But the one thing that we were able to communicate with the locals was everybody raised a beer. Go Dodgers! And I still see a bunch of my buddies every now and then, and we'll still get a text, you know, go Doyers, go Dodgers. But it was being down the Baja, being in Mexico. I totally forgot about that until something stirred me. But being down to San Felipe and watching the Mexican baseball fans and having it on down there. And it wasn't as easy to get a game back in, you know, the 80s. It wasn't just, you know, they had a big satellite dish up on the roof of the bar, but it was it was different, man. It was different. Do you want me to hold the Patino stuff until the next segment? All right, we'll do that. If you want to get in on the Fernando Valenzuela stuff, though, you're welcome to. I'd love thoughts and memories, and you know, so many of you remember that time. It's just different, man. The guy was only 63, and I haven't seen. Have you seen anything of what he died from?
I have not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm looking for. I see nothing on it. All right, news this morning. Football trade. Chiefs are finalizing a deal with the Titans for DeAndre Hopkins. They need receiver help with, Juju Smith-Schuster's down now, and he was replacing kind of the role that Rashee Rice was in, and Rashee Rice is out, and so they're looking for help. A conditional fourth could be a third-round pick, right? Is that what it is? Fifth or fourth? 5 to 4?
Yes.
Yeah, 5 to 4. Cooper Kupp's on the market. You think we hear something this week on Cooper Kupp? Does he play this week if he's on the market?
Oof.
I mean, they play Thursday.
If there's a legitimate chance of Cooper Kupp being traded, he will not play tomorrow.
They play Thursday tomorrow night against the Vikings. Is that a tough spot for the Vikings coming off their first loss, short week going across the country? No. They're pretty good, man. They're really good. Well, I'm going to guess the spread is 4.5 on that. Do you know what it is? The spread on that is 3. Minnesota by 3. and they probably get healthy there too. All right, when we come back, what Richard Pitino had to say yesterday, he'll talk about a lot of different things. The state of basketball coaches who are getting out of it because Chip Kelly did it, Tony Bennett last week. We really didn't get into Tony Bennett, the Virginia coach, talk about it. Bronco Mendenhall mentioned it the other day. What Richard Pitino had to say about that, about the football team. His team gets started next Monday in the pit against UTEP. Lowell men's basketball ready to go. Ladies go again for their second exhibition on Saturday against Western Colorado. And they look good against Highlands last week?
Yeah. It was a game, they're just so much better than Highlands. So even if they were sloppy, they were scoring 90 points.
And that'll be the deal this week, too. But then they'll jump into it. Do anything against Western Colorado?
There'll actually be some size.
Okay.
So you'll get a chance to see, Maya Moreland, Uldo Joachim in the post actually do some defending and not just be running over people because they can't defend them.
All right, 505-246-0610. Richard Pitino, what he had to say yesterday. Next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This report.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal, to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The Sports Animal, your home for the National Football League. We got Thursday night and Sunday night and Monday Night Football and a whole lot more. Thursday night, that's tomorrow, Rams and Vikings right here on the Sports Animal. Your Saturday schedule on the Sports Animal, JJ will have Lobo women's basketball against Western Colorado at 1:30 here on the Sports Animal. How are they going to handle this? So who's doing pregame for Lobo football? Lobo football with normally you and Ned, but you can't be in both places. Over on KKOB at 2 o'clock, and then LSU and Texas A&M at 5 o'clock. How are you handling that?
I'll do pregame.
You're doing pregame for Lobo football?
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't Lobo women's basketball start at 1:30?
Yes, it does.
How you doing that?
Listen and find out.
I seriously, I mean, I can't wait to find out. All right, so JJ will have all of that. JJ's going to be everywhere on Saturday. Sunday, your schedule here on the Sports Animal. Bears and Commanders at 11. Should be really good. Saints and Chargers at 2. And the Cowboys and 49ers is Sunday Night Football. If you're looking for the Raiders, they'll be over on KTBL. That's Chiefs and Raiders at 2 o'clock. And then Monday night, you get the Giants and Steelers here on the Sports Animal. And at 6:30 over on News Radio KKOB, Lobo men's basketball opens up the exhibition season against the UTEP Miners.
We'll have to update that, by the way.
Why?
Did you say Bears and Commanders was... What time was that?
11 a.m.?
That's an afternoon game this weekend.
Did I just read what the boss said?
I know. It was flexed in the afternoon spot.
All right, so we need another game there? All right, I bet we have another game there. I promise you we'll have another game there.
Should put it on the poll.
Yes, put it on the poll. Oh, wait, that's a different thing. All right, you were out yesterday at the Richard Pitino press conference as kind of a pre-season, let's get started. We plan on Monday. Overall tone, just optimism. Let's get started. Let's see what we got, kind of a thing. You know, talked a little bit about the closed-door scrimmage with Santa Clara. I know a little bit. Yeah,
just the differences in the closed-door scrimmage settings versus getting out there in front of everyone in a real game where you're not just going to be able to, as he said, stop it and walk on the court and discuss things. And you can go through different scenarios and say, hey, all right, let's pretend there's 60 seconds left. You guys press, and we'll see what happens.
All right. So, I mean, that's a controlled atmosphere. This will be more of a game. So you and I didn't get into this much last week because I think the announcement came on Thursday. It was going to happen on Friday. Tony Bennett stepped down as the head basketball coach at Virginia. Tony Bennett Tony Bennett is 55 years old. A young man who was kind of at the top of his profession. That's kind of the prime, wouldn't you say, of a coach, mid-50s, right in there. And look, guys won a national championship. Tony Bennett is respected for how he does it. Tony Bennett is respected for results. former Washington State coach, and he stepped down. He said, quote, "The hardest thing to say is when I looked at myself and I realized I'm no longer the best coach to lead the program in this current environment. If you're going to do it, you got to be all in. If you do it half-hearted, it's not fair to the university and these young men. So in looking at it, that's what made me step down." That was part of his quote. And he talked about NIL, said it's right for student athletes to get revenue. And don't mistake me, he says, the game, college athletics, is not in a healthy spot. It's not. And there needs to be a change. And it's not going to go back. I think I was equipped to do the job the old way. That's who I am, end quote. Bronco Mendenhall talked about Tony Bennett at his press conference the other day. They worked together at Virginia. Bronco said he respects him as much as anybody. I'm paraphrasing. This is Richard Pitino yesterday. He was asked a little bit about coaches retiring amid changes in the game and where the game is. And Richard's a younger man. I think Richard's right around 40, and Tony Bennett was 55. But you got to be in it. Here's what Richard said about that.
Well, I'm not going to retire anytime soon, so don't worry about that. But it's always been hard. But I would say every profession is hard. Every walk of life, you're going to have the people that complain about what it used to be and what it's evolved. I mean, that's normal for every walk of life. I think the hard part right now is there is so much volatility in everything that we do. But you have to find a way to just figure it out. But you're looking at NIL, you don't know where it's going to be. You're looking at conference realignment, you don't know where it's going to be. So it's just like year to year. And do I like that? No, of course I don't like it, but I'm also not going to sit and whine about it and complain about it. If I have a solution, I'd be happy to offer it. I don't have a solution. I think when NIL started, we were all like, this is a really good idea. It is not what it was supposed to be. Conference realignment, as I said at Media Day, like, I don't get at all why the Mountain West needed to break up. I get why Washington and Oregon wanted to go to the Big Ten. UCLA, USC want to go. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense, but I get it. It was a lot of money. I don't believe that the Mountain West breaking up was necessary. But, again, things I can't control. So, yeah, it's hard. I don't find it substantially harder to coach the players. But predicting the future has become certainly more difficult, and building a roster is becoming more and more challenging. But everybody's dealing with it too. I
like the acknowledgement. Like everything's hard. None of us have an easy job. You guys might think ours is easy. It's not. People think yours is easy. It's not. We all have hard jobs. And he has to have that attitude of, look, man, if I'm going to be in this, and I think at the core, he still loves coaching basketball, and he's very handsomely compensated and realizes there's a lot of money for him to be earned as he goes to do his coaching prime, right? Why would he get out of it? What's he going to do? Go sell insurance? Nothing against guys who sell insurance. They're great living. He's killing it right now, right? I think it was the right answer, right? I don't understand a lot of it. I don't like a lot of it. But if I'm going to, basically, I'm paraphrasing, if I'm going to stay in this game, I have to adapt to it and play by, I don't get to make the rules, essentially.
And that's something I'm hearing a lot more from coaches. Is you just kind of vent. Everyone needs to vent, get the frustration out. But if you're going to sign up for that job, then you still have to do it.
Yeah. Tony Bennett said, you know what, I can't. He says it's a professional model, and there's got to be collective bargaining, and there's got to be a restriction on the salary pool, and there's got to be transfer regulation restrictions. And, he said all these things on the way out. Richard didn't get to make the rules. And so, all right, he's got captains. So it's Dent, Amsdale, and Noland are your team captains. How do you get to team captains? How do you get there? What do you try to do with the player voting? Here's how we decided on team captains.
The goal more than anything with captains is I try to stay out of the locker room as much as possible and make that their space. Now, game day, in there before, halftime, after games for sure, but I want that locker room to be a space where if we were listening in, they're all saying the right things. And I think that Donovan, Mustafa have been in the program. They've experienced success. They should know what it takes to win the way we're trying to win, and they should be saying the right things and checking guys, which that's uncomfortable for everybody, but they need to do that. CJ, certain guys have it. CJ reminds me of Mo a little bit, Jamal Baker a little bit. They just have this veteran presence to them, and you could tell that, yeah, they want to do well personally, but they just want to win. And CJ has, you just got to watch one practice, and CJ gains your respect. So it doesn't always seem like it's the case with the peers, but it was obviously great that he was able to do that.
All right. So you got two guys coming back and one new leader, and that's how it's emerged, and that's how your team captains and your players decide on that. We've talked a lot about the straw that stirs the drink in college athletics. And Richard's been vocal about football and more about conference realignment and the role football played and why, like he doesn't like it. Nobody likes it. Or I shouldn't say nobody. Nobody around here likes it. But I think, Heather Dyke has come in here and talked about how important it is for football. Joe Henry, when he was still here, the former cross-country coach, used to talk about how important it is for football to be healthy and win and what it does for the entire program. So I think Jeff Grammer asked this question yesterday. He said, are you paying attention to what's going on across the street, with football and with them feeling like there's a little groove now. They've won 3 in a row. And so as basketball season is getting ready to start and we're going to be in November soon. And I know normally you've already flipped the page, but football's got your attention. And I've told you for years, man, you're not cheating on Lobo basketball if you also support Lobo football. In fact, you're helping Lobo basketball. But Richard was asked about, are you watching what's going on and what your thoughts are, what's happening across the street with Lobo football?
I'm paying attention to it because I'm rooting for Broncos' success because I really, really like them. And I did the same for Danny, but I'm way more I care about the people, and I just think that staff, getting to know them and just what they're trying to build has been really fun to see. Regardless of realignment and all those things, like the whole experience is better when football is good. Football's different. Now it's going to change a little bit, but it's once a week, normally on a Saturday. There's nothing cooler than getting the whole community outside on your campus. A little bit different of a field than basketball, where basketball is a weeknight, late, so on. So there's not tailgating and all those things. So the more vibrant this community can be, I think the better as it pertains to New Mexico athletics and football. I'm very cranky about football realignment stuff. So I don't even want to think about that part of it, but I just want them to win because I know Coach Mendenhall does a phenomenal job, and I know how good it'll be for this place when football is really good. So they've won 3 in a row, got a big one versus Colorado State. Not only my thing with them is love that you're winning, but I just think they're fun to watch too. The points they're putting up, Dampier is phenomenal. So it's going to. That's not even close to Broncos program yet. They're winning, but this whole thing, he's just putting it into place, and it's going to be fun to watch it evolve for sure.
He's really good, isn't he? Right answers, right tone, right demeanor. And I've said that, I don't know, what is it, 3 years now, 4 years, whatever it's been. Right answers, well thought out. He gives you a little bit of meat on the bone, right? But it's all right. And like you said, man, I'm cranky about it, but I don't want to get into that. But yeah, I'm watching them. They're winning. It's fun. And I like people. I'm rooting for people. Yes. Lobo basketball. You getting excited? They get started. Maybe you'll feel a little bit better when you get out to the pit on Monday. You'll see some highlights. Get out to the pit, see the new team. But you got football on Saturday, a big one against Colorado State. A lot of goals still in front of Lobo football. And a lot of goals in front of Lobo basketball. And you get an interesting start to the season for Lobo basketball. So here we go. It's UTEP on Monday. Then November 4th is the following Sunday? What day of the week?
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday? So 2 Mondays in a row. You get UTEP and then you get Nichols. And then that game in Vegas against UCLA on a Friday, November 8th. Home for Corpus Christi during the week. and then they'll be at St. John's on Sunday the 17th. That's a 10 a.m. game you get to watch before you watch your football. That's good viewing, man. That's good early morning Sunday basketball, early season basketball. St. John's, New Mexico, Madison Square Garden. That'll be on FS1. 505-246-0610. You can respond to what you heard from Richard Pitino. I thought it was good. Get you a little level hoops as you go through it. You can get in on LeBron and Bronny yesterday if you'd like. Fernando Valenzuela passing away, the trade in the NFL. It's all there. When we come back, hey, nothing to see here. That was bad. That was my worst Jerry in a long time. Jerry Jones said there's nothing to see here. Yeah, you're right. Because, well, there's nothing to see here. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Need firewood for winter?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient. They're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
DeAndre Hopkins with the Titans. It'll be a 5th-round conditional 4th-round pick, and DeAndre Hopkins will go to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, JJ, Jerry Jones is convinced he's the smartest guy. And look, Jerry Jones is a smart guy. Jerry Jones built an empire. Jerry Jones has done a lot of great things. Jerry Jones is a better football person than many football people. His football team is what his football team is. Marginal at best, and he's made some, most people believe, mistakes in the offseason. JJ, the Cowboys spent the least amount in free agency, $18.5 million. I think was the number. $18.9 million. I don't know why they don't just let this Derrick Henry thing go. And I think if he keeps going on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. And that was the show last week where he essentially had the threatened to have the host fired. Where he says, I'll get someone else to ask the questions, right? The Derrick Henry thing, why doesn't he just say, you know what? Maybe we should have been, a little bit more diligent in our pursuit of Derrick Henry. End of story, right? It ends it. Instead of telling you that Derrick Henry, we couldn't fit him under the cap. Well, if you would have signed guys earlier and been able to defer more money to future years, Dak, CeeDee Lamb, then in fact you would have, because it costs them less than $10 million a year to get a guy who's still the best running back in the NFL. He still is. My eyes tell me that. And to tell me that, he wouldn't have fit in our offense. What offense does he not fit in? Why didn't he just say, you know what? Maybe, and I guess there's guys you get to a certain level that'll never admit a mistake, right? I mean, whether this is not a political thing, but Trump's never admitted he made a mistake. He doubles down on everything. That's kind of his strategy. Just keep doubling down. Jerry Jones the same way. Just keep doubling down, right? Just the more you say it with conviction, the more it becomes reality. Why doesn't he just say, you know what? Derek's having a great season.
He'd have to admit a mistake.
Well, why can't people do that?
It's a great question, and we'll ponder it for eternity.
I don't have any. He was asked. Was he asked about last week when he went on the show? He said, "quote I don't have anything to say about last week. I'm surprised that last week got the attention it got when he went on the show." First of all, how are you surprised? Everything you say gets attention. You blew up on these guys. You called them clowns, right? Didn't he call them clowns? Or no, geniuses. He called them geniuses.
Geniuses. Yahoos.
Yahoos. That's what it was. Yahoos.
Bunch of yahoos.
What do you mean you're surprised it got the attention it got? Then you doubled down with Diana Rossini when you talked to her later that day with The Athletic. What are you saying? Then he talked about the Derrick Henry thing. He talked about it goes, quote, way beyond whether we have Derrick Henry or not. That he might not have the same impact. The issues are more about holding your blocks and not making mistakes and having receivers running through man-to-man coverage. What are we doing, dude? Tell me again why it's somehow positive for an owner to go on a weekly radio show and critique his team. In any sense, how has it ever been, and more so even now that they're, it was one thing when you're winning 12 games in a regular season, right? You can go on, all right, whatever, but they're winning. You're throwing your coach under the bus, or at least it's interpreted thusly every time you open your mouth. It is. Whether you're actually doing it or not, you got everybody in the world with a microphone in front of their face. That's how they're interpreting it. And it's just, tell me how it's somehow beneficial. I'd love to know the thought process. Well, we're promoting the team. I'm Jerry Jones. I'm promoting my team. Damn, your team's promoted more than anybody in the world. Do you know another owner, aside from the local soccer owner, honestly, who's got a weekly segment on a radio show?
No.
Those are the only two that I can think of. Kind of the same personality, same look at me. I'm the head of the snake thing. I'm the face of the franchise. Why doesn't he just leave the Derrick and the Derrick Henry thing got asked again, I guess, by the host. Is that the deal? They went to that again. JJ, is there any scenario where Derrick Henry wouldn't have helped them? Yeah, if he gets hurt.
That would be the only one where he would not have helped them.
How does he not fit to any offense? Give me an offense he doesn't fit in.
Universal fit, Derrick Henry.
If you can't fit Derrick Henry into your offense, then the problem is you as a coaching staff. You're right. No, Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott are way better. You're right, Jerry. Is that what he wants to hear? Is somebody really going
wants to prove it out?
Is somebody really going to blow that smoke up his backside? Jerry, you're right. Getting Zeke back in here and Rico Dowdle, we're way better off than we would be because Derrick Henry wouldn't have fit here. Is anybody eating that crap? But yet he goes on with these guys, these yahoos, every single week. Nothing to see here. Nothing, dude, you guys are, and you know why it's quieter? I'll tell you why it's quieter. Because they're coming off a damn bye. That's why it's quieter this week. And I say quieter, but not quiet. They are 3-3. They're 4.5-point dogs against a 3-4 Niner team who's beat to hell. You're going to go play a Niner team who's, I don't know, who you hoping on? Juwan Jennings is your top receiver now? Jacob Cowings?
But it highlights where the Cowboys are, is I'm not confident that they're going to go beat up on anything.
100% right.
Mike Parsons is questionable. Marcus Lawrence has been out.
Who takes the fall? I don't want to say the fall. Who takes the blame? When you look at it, okay, Jerry gets a lot of it because he's the owner and he didn't go out and make moves. But I'll tell you all the time, it's hard for me to totally place blame on ownership, although he absorbs a lot of it here. Is this Mike McCarthy? Is it Dak who is not playing well? Is it Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator who came in and replaced Dan Quinn, who was supposed to be great and their defense is horrible? Like, where do you, or is it just simply on Jerry because he constructed the roster and he couldn't see past his face and realize that not only were they small, they weren't deep, and he didn't take care of the needs he needed to take care of on both sides of the football.
Well, it starts with Jerry Jones because he's been the constant for how long now? With doing everything
basically 3 decades, yeah.
He's been doing, and then it trickles down. Everyone is involved in it. Dak Prescott has been underperforming this season. And Dak Prescott should be playing at a higher level of football in that offense. He's not. He's not being able to really elevate anyone else when you have Troy Aikman calling out the entire receiving corps that includes CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones actually did back that up a little bit yesterday, even though Mike McCarthy tried to like poo-poo that and say, nah, Aikman's wrong. Jerry Jones was like, yeah, I'm going to listen to Troy Aikman about this. And just everything piling down on an average football team that's been able to get above average moments out of themselves, especially with that offense, what Dak Prescott has done in games. And I get it, the records of the opponents that he's beat. And when they're playing off their offense is at above average level, which we have seen, it's easier on that defense. You know, that they're small, quick, better suited to play from ahead, as opposed to having to grind out games, which neither side of the football is equipped to do.
No, I look, Cowboy fan, you're soliciting you a little bit. 505-246-0610. That's the Sports Animals phone line and our text line. So you've watched this for decades. And typically, when we're late October, you're, well, yeah, but we're winning games. Right? No, that's how it's been the last bunch of years. Yeah, but we'll be fine. Do you feel like you're going to be fine? And, I mean, not that you can do anything. Not that you can fire the general manager because he owns the damn team. And he's telling you there's nothing to see here. But how are you holding on to this mess? And Dak. Is Dak thrilled? Dak could have got $60 million wherever he wants next year. Right? He could have gone to Seattle. He could have gone to Carolina. He could have gone a lot of places next year. I promise. He stayed there. He wants to be the quarterback of the Cowboys. That's good. Is that going to be a good career decision? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm David C. Chavis, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great race, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
to pull together.
Pull together
Pull together.
to make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or
ridiculous. It's an impactful story. One of the greatest players of all time is the power move dynamic of it, the aspect of it for an organization like the Los Angeles Lakers to get his kid drafted and on the floor in a regular season game. It's fascinating.
When do we think do we see them on the same court again regularly? Do they do that semi-regularly in the second quarter to make so
that would just be making a mockery of the situation.
So when do we see it happen again? I'm going to compare it, and I'm old enough to remember the Griffey thing in the 90s. And I want you to understand. I preface this. I'm not downplaying this. I think this is amazing. I think any dude that plays professional sports long enough and successfully enough to be able to share the court with his son is amazing and special. And I will not take that moment from them. The Griffey moment to me felt, and I say this all these years later, and I just went back and looked at some stories on it. It was so different because Ken Griffey Jr., while he was not one of the best players ever, his son became one of them. But they both contributed. Like, they both went 1 for 4 the night that they played. They made their debut, but they played over and over in the same lineup. They hit back-to-back home runs in a game. They were impactful, so that was different. Again, takes nothing away from the amazing moment it was. And the Griffeys were there, but to me, the Griffey thing felt different because they were both impactful. They both made a difference. They were both contributing in the game in a significant way. When we come back, though, LeBron set some other history last night. He did. He set an NBA mark and not just playing with his son in the first one ever. I'll tell you what that was. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
we would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay. We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Murcia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For 50 years, Clark's Pet Emporium has been your pet's favorite stop.
I am Michael Azera, midfielder for New Mexico United. Clark's support for the United is an example of their commitment to local partnerships. Clark's understands that paying it forward develops a better team and ultimately better community partner.
When you need pet food and supplies,
Clark's is always the best shot.
Locally owned and operated with 2 convenient locations.
Go United!
ClarksPets.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
no thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Disappeared and people couldn't open, like they couldn't rip the perforated little piece open on the coffee thing. Is that a big deal?
No, it grinds my gears, Jeff.
Tell me.
Is people that reply all to emails.
I know, dude.
That do not need to reply all to. Like, look at me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. I'm important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that.
Like, just someone needs an answer. Reply to them only.
Reply to them only.
Go see them in an office. Don't need these ridiculous reply all email chains.
I didn't read it. I just
I just delete them.
I read like one.
There's always that person's like, I got you. I got it. Don't care. You don't need to reply all.
Look at me.
Doesn't
gotcha, boss.
do anything for us.
Look at me, boss. I got you, boss. Look at me. All right, we got football for you tomorrow night. Vikings and Rams here on the Sports Animal. If you want to go hang out with your boys, the afternoon show, the 2 Men On, they'll be at the Albuquerque Dukes store today. Sadie's on 4th Street tomorrow. If you want to go hang out, 4 o'clock is when that show begins. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Let me get you some of your. So let me lead off the top of the hour some of the stories today. And I need to fulfill this promise for you, the history that LeBron made. LeBron James and his son Bronny played on the court for 3 minutes yesterday. And so they make history as the first father and son to play in an NBA game in the history of the game. Lakers beat the Timberwolves 110-103. Anthony Davis had 36 points. We haven't mentioned this yet. It's 9 o'clock. We'll be on there 2 hours. Anthony Davis had 36 points and 16 rebounds. Big down the stretch. And Julius Randle had 16 and 9. Dante DiVincenzo had 10 in their Timberwolves debut. Remember they got traded from the Knicks a few weeks ago. Bron and Bronny went on the court with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Kind of how I told you this would orchestrate. And it was the right way to do it, man. First game, get it out of the way. Do it at home. Middle of the second quarter when it's kind of doesn't matter. Go out there, run them, and be done with it. And not have this linger. It was the perfect way to do it.
It was. Right on it. Just get out of the way. Rip that Band-Aid off.
Yep.
Get back to basketball. And Anthony Davis. He's sitting there 13th right now.
All time?
In MVP odds.
Oh.
And I might throw a couple shekels down on AD. JJ Redick continues to make him the focal point of the offense. I think he had like 88 touches last night, which led the team.
Yep.
Using him as a attacker in pick and roll situations, just different mismatches. You know the defense is going to be there. Like,
you know what you're banking on there? If you make that bet, what are the odds on it?
So across
like
the board,
40 to 1?
About it's plus, like at BetMGM is like plus 8,000.
That's pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
You're banking on him staying healthy,
Hmm.
which, okay. I mean, if you want to put, you put
like
100,
70 some odd games last year, in 82 games.
so you put $100 on it and he wins. You got a pretty good payday.
You know, you got, of course, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous.
Yeah, there's a lot of players, man.
It's a lot of good star/superstar players
Yeah.
in the league. But if he's consistent on both ends of the floor, it's very nice.
LeBron made history last night. Did I tell you that? Oh, but wait, not that history. LeBron set an NBA mark last night, JJ. So, look, you take a lot of shots, you're going to miss a lot of shots, right? It's 22nd season. Dude's taking some shots. It's kind of crazy when you say he's missed 14,476 field goal shots in his career. So he was 5 short of Kobe's record. And in the he missed a 6th shot in the third quarter. So he is now, LeBron James, the all-time NBA leader in missed shots. I mean, it's not as bad as it sounds.
No,
right?
it's
a longevity mark.
One of those ha-ha moments.
Right. You've missed more shots than anybody in the history of the NBA.
And he's like, I also got more points than anyone else.
That's right. He's got more points than anyone else. He's got more money than anybody. I mean, right? So there's a little history for you last night. Big night. Save your tickets. Oh, you don't have ticket stubs anymore. Do you remember ticket stubs?
Yes, I do.
Did you ever save any ticket stubs? I used to back in the day. We'd put concert stubs up on the cork board in the dorm room or something. It was kind of cool. But yeah, that happened last night at Crypto.com Arena. This is the text line. It says, it's from Joseph. He says, good job for the James family. No different than any other job. There are plenty of industries that have father-son link, railroad, refining, broadcasting, etc. If you think for 1 minute that this is the first time in the history of people working/earning a living, someone used a connection to get a job, you might want to look at a few of your coworkers. It's everywhere. No, I understand that. Joseph, the difference here is the window for a professional athlete is so much different than all those instances, railroad, refining, broadcasting, etc. See, most of us go into a career that the window doesn't close at 35 or 40 years old.
Dude, we don't see it on the field.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the tone of that comment was.
Yeah.
Of course, it's who you know. It's networking. There's a reason rich families stay rich. You work hard, but then you can pass it down. Like, you get it. It's one that you see it behind the scenes. You see it in front offices. You see it on coaching staffs all the time. You don't see it on the team. Because usually by the time the kids are good enough,
Daddy's not good
Dad's
enough.
gone.
Yeah, Daddy's not good enough. No, it's just, look, man, there's so many dudes in baseball In basketball, I mean, Steph Curry, Del Curry, right? I mean, just go down rosters. The example, yeah, we all would like to work with our kid. Like in my kid, well, I want my kid to go into something that's a little more stable than what I'm doing. But I don't even know what that means anymore. But if she wanted to come in and work for a while and learn the business at my office, I'd be thrilled to have her work there, right? You'd be thrilled to work with your son.
Yeah.
Talk in with your kid.
Was this all forced? Absolutely.
Forced, fabricated, yes.
Power that
Facilitated.
LeBron James still has, I think, is crazy in it all, but that's part of the story. And like, I don't think it's, when we were discussing it, I think it highlights just how crazy the Griffey moment was.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a different level.
And it hasn't happened since in 34 years.
Ken Griffey Sr. didn't have to pull strings, and like Griffey Jr. was a dude.
No, he was the first pick. Kenny was the.
And that was, this was kind of like, all right, guys, here's my kid. Bring my kid to work day, and cool.
Did it look weird? Like Bronny, and look, I don't blame him for looking nervous. He's a 19-year-old kid who made his NBA. Is he 19, 20, whatever he is? Made his NBA debut with everybody watching him. Like, I don't blame him for a minute. Remember your first day at work? Oh, and by the way, the whole world wasn't watching you. Your first day at your first job. Like, this dude's first job out of college. Make a lot of money, Jeff. I get it, man. Money doesn't erase nerves. But, yeah, that's what makes it special. But I agree with you on the Griffey thing. It kind of shines a light on how special that was. And I don't know that I knew in the moment back then. And I was working in Yakima. I moved up there in the summer of 91 and got, the back end of a baseball season with the Griffeys together in 91. And then watched Kenny become Kenny. And it was special. And that community, that state, that whole region just loved and realized, but they were both contributing. JJ, at the end of Ken Griffey's career, like Ken Griffey was a really good player. He wasn't a LeBron good player. Ken Griffey Sr. was a really good player. He was competing for the batting title in '76 with he was part of the Big Red Machine. It was him and Rose and Bench and Perez and Concepcion and Geronimo and Foster, and like he was part of that team. And that, you're right, man. It shines light on how special that was, that you could have father and son contributing, being big parts of a club. Gopher says nobody cares about LeBum, Jeff. If his name was Bronny Buck, he'd be playing at JC somewhere. You're right. Yeah. But he's not, and so he's not. His name's not Bronny Buck. His name's LeBron James Jr. And so instead of playing at a JC somewhere, he'd be a university player. He's playing for the Lakers. Getting paid a lot of money. You're right. Yeah, that's the power of LeBron James. Yes. I don't think a lot of people outside of the James family, maybe the Lakers organization, are arguing with you that that's not true. But it's still a pretty damn cool moment. 505-246-0610. I'll get you some of what you had to say when we get back on this, on the Cowboys, on the you got a trade going down the NFL this morning, and maybe another one coming down the pike pretty quickly with receivers moving all over the place. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Thank you for being with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Chiefs are finalizing a deal for DeAndre Hopkins. They're hoping that will fill a void that they've got at receiver, which they do. Rashee Rice is out. Juju Smith-Schuster down with a hammy. Hammies, dude. Mike Evans is out for a while, too, for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who do you think gets really active for Cooper Kupp now? Tampa Bay feels like a team that, with Kupp and Evans both going down. And I don't know what the Rams' asking price is. Probably going to be somewhere around a second for Cooper Kupp. But I look at Tampa Bay now, and I'm like, well, I mean, they think they're a contender. They're tied for first place in their division. You can win a winnable division. Atlanta's not killing people. New Orleans isn't really good, and Carolina's bad. If I go get Cooper Kupp, as he comes back to help Baker Mayfield,
I like it. It's, as you said, the division is winnable offensively. You know, if you can survive and be in the race until week 11, 12, if you get Mike Evans back, And then this move also could help be a bridge into next season because, dislocated ankle surgery for Chris Godwin, you'd expect him back, but still being able to run out there with.
You expect Chris Godwin back this year?
Next year.
Okay.
That's why I said a bridge year to next year.
Got it.
To where you don't have to put everything on him coming back from the ankle. It's a now and next year move for a team that kind of has to push things in because you do have an aging wide receiver core, and you'd be like, well, why would you give up a second-round pick for another old wide receiver? Because you're just trying to cash in on the momentum, the window you have now with Baker Mayfield. Who?
Kupp?
Yes.
26?
31 years old.
31?
And that's not, from a football perspective, he's not another 5-6 years of
Cooper
wide
Kupp?
receiver in one play.
That's why the Rams are thinking, all right, I got Puka Nacua, and we're 2-5.
And the injury history, your body, all those things.
Yeah. All right, emails, Jeff at sports@WQ.com. By the way, I read that scissor email chain, and I can't get that time back. Like, my mind turned to pudding. It literally did. Like, what are we doing? All right, you ready for your Here's Why Lobo Football's Not That Good segment?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Here's your Lobo football lovers. It's your regular customers in, I think, today. So James is in on Bob's eligibility, which would be Bill, which would be Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt at Arizona. Jeff, has the OD discussed Bob hadn't played since the Wildcats opener? Aren't you glad Danny Gonzalez took that circus to Tucson with him? Are you surprised there aren't more eligibility issues with guys changing schools every 6 months now? No, I'm not surprised because they just sue and then they win. What's the deal with Bill? Was it an eligibility issue?
Yeah. Well, that's why Andrew Henry's not on the Lobo team anymore.
So it did happen here, and I was going to get to that. But I didn't.
It's with the COVID years and red shirt. Did you actually get into more games than you thought you did? Was stuff submitted? Like, there's issues going on with players.
So what's going on with Ja'Cory?
He's out of eligibility.
He's out. He's done. So he took all that, whatever NIL money he could get from all those three schools, whether it was Washington, Ole Miss, and Arizona, and he can't play. I didn't know that. Okay. Glenn says, boy, you know what, Jeffy? How bad are Lobo fans hoping that the NCAA restores the sitting out 1 year if you transfer rule? It seemed to work great. Not sure why it stopped. That may be the only way you hold on to Dylan Dampier and the offensive line. It's from Glenn. Well, it stopped because they got litigated against and they lost, and so that's why, right? And I mean, they're not there. I don't know what makes you think they're going to restore that. We're not going backwards. I got another text earlier today about how, we were talking Lobo basketball and how, college sports are BS because the employees are making more than some of the coaches. It's not about education anymore. You're right. It's not about education anymore. It's not.
Was it ever really about education at some of the highest levels anyway?
At some of the highest levels with some of the highest players, no. Again, I will still contend that the majority of student athletes take advantage of the educational opportunities that they afforded.
They do. You're right on with that.
Now, at the very top, the kids who are going to make millions in drafts and go to professional basketball and football, maybe not. But the majority of student athletes throughout an athletic program, you got 500-ish student athletes, take advantage of the opportunities and they get an education, they go on and have a career somewhere.
Yeah, in a system where you're going to be paying coaches what you do, media rights deals are going to be the level that they bring in. Like, you're making decisions on where you're playing games because of that.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, you're going to have to realize, these student athletes are going to get something, because this is also, for a lot of them, just like they're taking advantage of their education, this is their biggest earning potential as an athlete they're ever going to have.
Inarguable. The majority of them, yes. Mike says, Wyoming hot take, Jeff Alou. Yesterday you asked if more Lobo fans will go to the game. Not only will that not happen, but the Pokes are so bad, you won't see the normal 2,000 to 3,000 folks from Laradice that might travel to University Stadium if Wyoming was better. So he's just telling you it's going to be a disaster. Nobody's going to that game next week. Okay. Harold, your volleyball guy, no D in Albuquerque. Jeff, Albuquerque's baseball club set school records, conference records for defensive futility in 2024. Lobo football is well underway to doing the same. Yeah, their defense isn't good, Harold. They won 3 in a row. Now, can you look? I don't think anybody's sitting here.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's sitting here telling you it's sustainable that you're going to have to score 50 plus a week to win. Right? Probably not. It's fun to watch. Not really, Jeff. It's not that fun to watch. Because Dan says Lobo football's hard to watch, JJ. Jeffrey and Juan Jose. These contests are agony. Agony. Between all the laundry on the court, lack of discipline, no flow, and just ugly play, these games drag on forever, and I'm wearing out the batteries on the remote control, looking for more intriguing, cleaner action. You shouldn't have to work hard, should you? I mean, if these games are so, you don't like a 50 to 45 shootout, yeah, there's some penalties. Yeah. You watched the end of the Monday Night Football game last week? How brutal that was at the end? Agony? I don't know, man. They're pretty exciting to watch. A 50 to 45 football game, even if you don't have a dog in the race. Pretty exciting football. But, I mean, don't kill yourself, though, guys. Don't hurt yourself. Don't watch the game. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to. The good Lord invented the remote control and batteries. And there's a lot of games on, man. You got a lot of options. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to go. You don't even have to send an email about how you're not going. How about that? Did you know that? You don't even have to send an email or a text about how you're not going to go and why. I know that's an option. It's like when JJ told me, you can drink water. Who knew?
It's always an option.
I mean, who knew? Kind of crazy. All right, 505-246-0610. That's how to get here. 888-922-0610. He was offered an opportunity to go in and set a new career high. He's like, nah, I'm good. Let those guys eat. Who did that? Really? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Numbers, not all the time. Opening drive, Jefferson be out of J.J. Buck. Saquon Barkley's got a pretty good reputation about being a good dude. I thought he handled going back to New York, where he had played with the Giants for a lot of years, this last weekend with the Eagles, pretty well. He was humble, said the right things. And then he put up 176 yards despite never getting the ball in the fourth quarter. Nick Sirianni is his coach and came up to Saquon on the sideline late in the game. Saquon was 13 yards away from his career high. He said, Saquon, you're 13 yards away from your career high. I'd love for you to go get that, but it's up to you. There's sideline video of this and audio. Saquon's response, it's all good. Let them eat. That's what he said. Let my backups play hard. We're kicking the crap out of this. It was 28-3. Let someone else play. I'm going to guess about 70% of dudes would have said, you know what, let me go get, especially in the situation where it's against his former team, in the building where the fans were all about him. Don't you think about 70% of players would have said, yeah, let me go get it? Let me go set a new career high in this situation?
I think a lot would have gone out there to get their single game rushing record. I also liked how it was a peek behind the scenes of a team that all the noise has been about Nick Sirianni not being a good coach, a disconnect with Jalen Hurts. Now, this wasn't Jalen Hurts, but this still was a leader on that team and someone that they're leaning into fully this season as a focal point of that offense. And that's going to be important down the stretch for the Eagles because it's going to be a lot of noise surrounding Nick Sirianni, his decisions, his connection with his quarterback. So if you just have that kind of moment where you go into your players, have that open dialogue, it's like, all right, I got you. Now, coach, I'm good. Let them guys get in there. I think it's something to watch on a positive fashion for the Eagles.
I think it's really good, actually. Hey, Bob, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Bob.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm sorry. I just turned you on about 10 minutes ago, so I don't know if you've talked about this. But my comment is, when I first looked at the Lobos schedule this year, my first thoughts were, my God, did Bronco know what he was getting into?
Right.
I mean, it's got to be the toughest schedule in the Mountain West Conference. However, the 0-4 start was not unsurprising, and now I'm looking at the rest of the Lobos schedule, and I'm going, there's not an unwinnable game on that schedule. My question is, and I haven't looked into this that much, if New Mexico is able to run the table, which is a big if, can they overtake Boise, or does Boise still have the inside slot here?
So the way I understand it, tiebreaker, so let's assume the winner of the Boise State UNLV game this weekend goes undefeated, right? However it is they break ties. I believe ties, because there's going to be a lot of non-head-to-head, right? Head-to-head will be your first tiebreaker. But they only play 7 league games this year because of the scheduling agreement with Oregon State and Washington State. JJ, is the way you understand it, it's going to go to the polls. I think like the power, whatever the poll is, to decide tiebreaker. So if UNLV and New Mexico and Boise State are all one-loss teams, I think they go to the rankings, and if they're both in the national polls or top whatever, I believe that to be the tiebreaker. I've got to call in to find that out.
Yeah, same thing with me. I haven't quite looked into it, but honestly, the scariest game on that schedule is at Hawaii, the last game of the season. Hopefully, the Lobos will have something to play for there. But shifting gears a little bit, Dan Pierre, obviously an outstanding quarterback, young man. He's a sophomore, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so how do the Lobos keep him?
Pay up.
I don't think his game's particularly suited for the Big Ten.
Why do you not
look
think
at
so?
what Dabo's done at Vandy. I could see Georgia Tech, in the ACC, maybe NC State. I could see Vandy saying, well, my God, we had this great success with a New Mexico quarterback. Let's go grab him. How do the Lobos keep him?
Money. Why do you not think he works at a place like Michigan? I mean, dude can throw the ball. He makes good decisions. He can throw out of the pocket. He can throw on the run. He can get out of the pocket, get loose. He, for the most part, protects the ball. I'm not sure what he doesn't do, and he's getting better.
Well, obviously he's getting better. I guess my concern is his size, but yeah, that's my biggest concern is his size, and I don't know if he could take the pounding in the Big Ten or the SEC. But then again, look at the success Davio's had. So I don't know. I just, I'm listening to the other radio shows, and it's like $2 million for a Power 4, which is not Power 5 anymore. A Power 4 starting quarterback's $2 million.
Yeah.
And some of them are up above $3 million. So I don't know if the Lobos can do that. I don't know where his heart is, but I think if we can get to six or seven wins in a bowl game, maybe we have a chance of keeping him.
Yeah. No, it's a good call, Bob, and I appreciate it. I'm going to talk a little more about that. Thank you for the call. So a couple things on this. I don't know Devin well. I'm not going to pretend I do. I don't know his family situation. I think if you come from a family, a middle-class family that you might, or a family that's weller off, if that even makes sense, would you be more apt to take less, right? Or is it, man, get whatever you can get? Certainly if you're coming from a place where you didn't have much money, then you might be more apt to say, hey, I need to maximize my earnings now. I wouldn't hold that against him. I look at a case like Ashton Jeanty at Boise State. Now, it's hard for me to compare New Mexico's program to Boise State's, okay? But Ashton Jeanty, who is one of the front runners for the Heisman Trophy, the running back there, had a lot of offers. In fact, Spencer Danielson told me, and we played the conversation, right? At media day, he talked about how people were coming onto his campus and recruiting this kid off of his team. And he stayed there because he really liked the coaching staff, liked the situation, and was making some money. Now, I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know Devin's situation. I look at a situation like JT Toppin. I think JT liked it here in basketball. From everything I hear, he's made between $1.2 and $1.5 million at Texas Tech. Now, I don't know that you can match that. I heard New Mexico could get him $600,000. What's a quarterback worth here? What can you get Devin? I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. I'm going to go back to what I said yesterday, and somebody tried to, rebuffed it, and you don't have to believe it. I'm okay with that. But JJ, if you lose Devin Dampier, I think if you get to 6 wins in Broncos' first year, and you can show the success that young man had in this system, I believe you become more attractive to the quarterbacks who will be in the portal, because there will be, Lord knows how many good quarterbacks in the portal. And how do you replenish? So I obviously, plan A is to find a way to keep this young man here. And Bob just asked, how do you do it? Well, I mean, the answer is how much you got, right? In today's day and age. And it's going to be hard. And is it impossible? Look, I don't know the young man's situation. But if you do have to replace a quarterback, man, the better situation, the better picture you can paint for somebody coming in, the better you're going to be.
And it's also, not money's a big part of it. I'm never going to say turn down a potential $1 million offer. If you get that in writing, you can put it in your bank account. And what Devin Dampier wants in terms of, does he want a different challenge? Does he want to try to play autonomous for football if he got an opportunity like that? Is he just comfortable continuing with the coaching staff building? That's there's so many factors that go into it. And just what? You can break those down after the season, because he is all in one of the most exciting players to watch right now in college football.
And I think you brought something up that I don't want to underestimate. I don't want to overestimate it either, but I don't want to underestimate, a relationship with a staff. Now, I believe if the Lobos did not change coaching staffs, Devin Dampier would still be very, very good. I believe he was getting better last year, and I believe he would have gotten better. I mean, it's the progression as you get coached. I can't pretend to tell you how much better he is or would have been in this situation or that situation. I don't know. All I know is he's pretty damn good. He's your first team all-conference quarterback, is he not? As we sit here today?
Yes.
Okay? For a guy that wasn't on the board. Now, is there a relationship with this coaching staff? I'm going to guess there is. I don't know. Again, I'm not going to pretend I know this young man and what's in his mind. But if there's a relationship and he feels that he is growing and can attribute some of that growth to this coaching staff, and if he thinks he's going to get to the NFL, look, I'm going to tell you, man, if you're an NFL quarterback, they'll find you. Josh Allen was found at Wyoming, and Ben Roethlisberger was found at Miami of Ohio, and Tony Romo was found at Eastern Illinois. Like, if you're going to be in the NFL, they will find you, okay? Is it a quicker path, maybe a smoother path out of Michigan or Alabama? Sure, it is. You get way more publicity. Is there more money there? Yeah, probably. So I don't know. I mean, Bob, how do you keep them here? I mean, I get asked that every single day, don't you?
Yeah. And it's, you just build relationships and do what you can in the world of NIL, which you have to have the funds for your best players. And then ultimately it's a young man that after this season looks at his next years of his college career and say, keep rolling along, be in the conversation for Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year, or do you want to challenge? And I wouldn't be upset if he's the quarterback to Oklahoma next year or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It could absolutely happen.
Because they're looking for a quarterback too, and they got a lot of money. I know I've told this story 12 times. I'll tell it again because the audience turns over. But I was in Michigan about 3 weeks ago, and Audra and I were in a bar. They had the Alabama-Georgia game up, and Penn State and Illinois was up, and so I was watching New Mexico State on my phone on the bar, and a gentleman came up, stood next to me, ordered a drink, and looked down. And he says, which one you got there? And I told him what I'm watching, and he laughed. He says, I don't have enough money to care about that game, which still to me is a funny response. But then he was watching, and Devin Dampier was doing his thing. He's like, damn, who's that dude? He's pretty good. And he kind of was watching on my little phone, and I was, who's that? And he was a Michigan fan. He's like, damn, we should buy him. He's David Portnoy, the Barstool guy, just gave us $3 million to go buy a quarterback because Michigan's been through 4 of them. And Audra's like, what the hell? But that's how it is, right? I mean, if Michigan comes at him and Oklahoma comes at what are you going to do, man? I'll tell you this, JJ, as we sat here last March, as global basketball season coming to a close, what would you have put the odds on Donovan Dent staying? And he did, right? I mean, Donovan Dent stayed here, and he had his opportunity to go elsewhere too. Was it all about money? Obviously not. Partially, yeah. I mean, you're going to have to pay this young man. So I don't know, man. Bob, fair question, asked a lot. The answer is I don't know. Enjoy him while you're here, or while he's here, because he's really freaking good, and he's something to watch, and he's something to enjoy, and see what happens at the end, and people say, hey, contribute to 505 Ventures, and Gigi, if you contribute to the collective, can you say, hey, I want this to go directly to football, or I want this directly to go to basketball? Do you know? I got to believe there's a way to do that.
I assume that's the way it is. And as we get ready to take this break, sources are talking, Jeff, and they're talking about conference realignment, and they want the news out there this morning involving Mountain West Conference.
And
I'll tell you after this break.
After the break, you're going to tell me? All right. I'm going to tell you about the Albuquerque Convention Center, as we got conference realignment news when we come back. You planning an event? You're the person in charge of your holiday party for your company. You got a wedding reception or a convention or a gala, Albuquerque Convention Center is your spot. How about just a meeting? Anything from 10 to 20,000 people. They will take care of you with over 600,000 square feet of flexible indoor and outdoor meeting space. Local art throughout the building, a parking structure adjacent to the building, great food and beverage options, a staff that goes above and beyond. That's why every single year we take the teams from the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl over to the convention center for an event. They take care of our people. They treat them the way we need them to be treated, above and beyond. It'll be the event that everybody wants to go to. When you're thinking of an event, when you're thinking of hosting an event, think of the Albuquerque Convention Center. In the heart of downtown with diverse spaces, they'll accommodate anything imaginable, from intimate meetings and gatherings to grand expos and conferences. Your event will be the one everybody wants to be at. Be at the center of it all. AlbuquerqueCC.com is the website. albuquerquecc.com or on call them at 505-768-4575. That's 505-768-4575.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
All right, a little, not breaking news, but insider speculation or report. Are you talking about Brett McMurphy? Go ahead and hit it. It's the opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck.
Well, when these come out, it's because someone wants to put a little pressure on someone, turn the screws just a little bit. But Brett McMurphy Action Network reporting that talks are heating up. He's on fire between Grand Canyon, basketball only, or
well,
non-football
members,
members,
yeah.
so all, Olympic sports, but it's easier for everyone when you just say that.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon and the Mountain West Conference, and of course the iron's still in the fire for the Mountain West when it comes to Northern Illinois and Toledo for their football programs.
Okay, let me take each of these, peel them separately. The Grand Canyon would be a great get for them, a great get to get into the Phoenix market. And I think the Pac-12 is probably trying to get them as well, or will maybe turn up the intensity as this comes out. And so that could be what you're saying is maybe Grand Canyon's putting this out trying to intensify the talk, if they're trying to get in the pack.
Yeah.
To intensify the pack talks. Otherwise, you know what? If you guys want to come out, then we're going to go Mountain West. Because they probably got to make a call here because I don't know what their buyout is. They haven't even started playing the West Coast Conference yet. They got to pull out of their commitment to that if they move to one of these two leagues. So what you're saying is maybe that is Grand Canyon feeding McMurphy to try to expedite or increase the urgency on the pack.
Either side. It could even be someone like Mountain West saying, like, hey, stop waiting on the pack, and they're in a holding pattern until they get their evaluation.
Yeah.
And what it also makes sense to me is I almost feel like I don't feel like St. Mary's isn't like in at all for the Mountain West. Like, would you like them to join for basketball? I think St. Mary's would be the same thing like angling. Like, we want to stay with Gonzaga. We want to.
And Gonzaga may want to stay with them, by the way. Like Gonzaga, if Gonzaga wanted to pull them into the pack, they could.
That feels like that's where that would go. But Grand Canyon to the Mountain West.
No, it's ideal. Yes. And we've been talking about this for a lot of years, Grand Canyon to the Mountain West. So that sounds like something that happened. How do you feel about the Northern Illinois and Toledo thing as far as football?
Just staying aggressive. Add your numbers with programs that meet the level of expectation that you're setting now moving forward with Mountain West football.
I'm going to tell you I like it, and I'll tell you why. I do like getting into another time zone. You're going to be like, well, Jeff, it's all over the place. Everything's all over the place, dude. And it's just football. I think it gets you, first of all, and Addie was just telling me this the other day, and the perspective is so good. The Midwest, I think it opens eyes to the Midwest in some places. Not everybody. People, Michigan fans, Illinois fans don't give a damn. But all of a sudden, people in Chicago are going to be going, oh, dude, so there's something out west of Mississippi River? Like, there's something out there. What is the Mountain West? I think those are two solid programs, whether you realize that they're solid or not, in two interesting markets. And Toledo is like Ohio, but it's also into Michigan. Like, when I was in Ann Arbor a couple weeks ago, I was listening to a rock station out of Toledo. I mean, it's that close, the radio stations, then the markets. I like the expansion of the market of the brand of the product and bringing in two more competitive teams that it doesn't dilute you, and I think it does help you. So I kind of like where they're going with that. Again, that does not mean I wouldn't like to see New Mexico State in. I would like to see New Mexico State in. I understand what's going on, and I've talked to enough people recently to hear it, but so that's what's going on. All right, you guys are in replying to Bob. Bob's the guy who said, what do you got to do to keep Dampier here? Jack says, Jeff, he's going to be the next Diego Peavy on TV next season, being interviewed by the little sideline reporter right after his team upsets number 1 Alabama on Saturday afternoon on network TV. Maybe. Lobo hot take from Jack. Jeff, you have a struggling Lobo D and Rocky Long's coaching at Fort Lewis College. Just saying. Okay.
Just saying Rocky's not coming back. There's a reason he's
I
at Fort
love
Lewis
it.
College and not a Division I university somewhere.
I mean, look, man, I love it. I don't know what the relationship is with Bronco and Rocky, but I mean, I wouldn't hate that. Todd says, Dampier in the pros, Jeff, I'm not sure he has an NFL arm. What position do you see him suited for in the pros? Maybe a Taysom Hill kind of player? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Is this where he maximizes his athletic earning power, right, in the next 2 years? And it could be. It could be. AC says, Jeff, can you provide some clarity? Heard the Mountain West has offered Sam Houston membership, and their budget's less than NMSU, yet no offer to state. Something sounds fishy. I don't. That could be. I don't know what Sam Houston's.
Wasn't that Sam Houston the ones that were like, we're not going anywhere?
Yeah.
And Mountain West was coming.
So the way I understand it, and I could be wrong on this, there were conversations with Sam Houston and the Mountain West. I don't know that there was an offer, but Sam Houston's
made it sound like there was an offer.
They did and said, yeah, we're good. We're staying in the Conference USA.
We know why New Mexico State's not in. The Lobos.
Of course.
Which is just there's some things that will never not be true for people. And that's the thing. And looking at stories and responses to it, and people are always like, well, yeah, the Lobos don't want the competition. They're keeping them out. Like, yep, that's the team with so much power in the Mountain West Conference right there.
Yeah, if you weren't with us, I told you last week, I've spoken to a number of ADs now in the Mountain West that are not New Mexico, and they have laughed at me when I bring up that assertion, and it's not, that many of you have said the reason that New Mexico State's not in the Mountain West is New Mexico's keeping them out. And I brought up, so is this how it works, right? And I say this fully tongue-in-cheek, and they understand it. That you guys are all on a Zoom call or all in a room in Wyoming and Nevada and UNLV and Air Force and everybody, they all, let's talk about New Mexico State. Let's go get New Mexico State. And the University of New Mexico's interim athletic director slams his fist on the table and says, hell no, we're keeping them out. Oh, okay, we're good. And I've been laughed at every time I tell that story. And one AD said, I promise you that's not the way it's happening. I'm like, I know that. But I understand, Aggie fan is adamant that's why they're not in the Mountain West. Adamant. Some Aggie fan, not all. Some. This is from John. Jeff, JJ, remember the game in 1990? You remember this, JJ. When Fernando Valenzuela pitched a no-hitter against, I want to say, the San Diego Padres at Dodger Stadium. Man, the stadium was loud as hell when he got the final strikeout. It was so cool. It was incredible to see for sure. Dodgers back then were awesome. Tommy Lasorda, Vince Scully calling the game on radio and TV. Good times back then, especially if you love Major League Baseball. Thanks, Jeff and JJ. John in the Duke City. Yeah, Fernando, rest in peace. Number 34. Passed away at age 63. All right, what do you get tonight? You get a little Conference U.S. action. Last night you had UTEP getting beat by Louisiana Tech. Sam Houston becoming bowl eligible when they beat UTEP. They came from behind. Tonight, Liberty and Kennesaw State. Liberty can get bowl eligible when they beat Kennesaw State, who's 0-6. Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. Rich Rod gets a lot of home TV, doesn't he? Like Rich Rod feels like, I guess all Conference USA's get national TV in October. But I see a lot of Rich Rod games. Have they turned it around? 19.5-point favorites, Jacksonville State. Last time out, they beat the Aggies 54-13. Their last two games, Jiminy Christmas. JJ, the last three, they scored 44, 63, and 54. Before that, they scored 34 and a loss. Give me Jack State and lay the points tonight. Jim Lock it. Actually, I like that one a lot. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On is, where did I tell you they were? At Duke City, or at the Albuquerque Duke store. They're at 4 o'clock. Go see the boys today. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio. I think we'll start at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Adrian, great stuff. Go Doyers. Big day for you.
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Hey, be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.